my name is Sandra Rosette-Gonzalez, and I will be presenting the genus Acrosymphyton. Now, Acrosymphyton belongs in the empire Eukaryota, kingdom Plantae, phylum Rhodophyta, class Floridiophyceae, order Acrosymphytales, family Acrosymphytaceae, and genus Acrosymphyton. Now, originally Acrosymphyton was only under the order of Gigantinales until 2007. It was removed and placed in its own order, Acrosymphytales. This was done by the very renowned taxonomist Whittle and Saunders back in 2007 because Acrosymphytales actually has 4 genera and 15 species. So they deemed it worthy to make it its own order. There are a total of 6 species within the genus Acrosymphyton, one of them being Acrosymphyton tenax, Caribium, and Firmum. As you can see from these presses, they are completely different in its structure. Some of them appear more feather-like, some of them are a little more webby, and some of them are a little more branchy and sharp. 2 of the species are actually Hawaiian endemics, which is the Acrosymphyton taylori and the Acrosymphyton brandardi, both of which were discovered by the very renowned Dr. Abbott. The one that I will be focusing on today is this one, which is the Acrosymphyton purpuriferum. This was the first Acrosymphyton found in 1842, and then it was reclassified in 1926. Now, its basic reproductive cycle would be the triphasic sporic meiosis. It is more specifically a heteromorphic alternation of generation, which means that the gametophyte is significantly and morphologically different than the tetrasporophyte phase. But before I get more into detail, I'm going to talk about how it's non-procarpic. So as you can see the image right over here, they have the carpogonium and the oxalary cell on completely different branches. What makes this structure completely stable is that it actually has 5 to 10 times more oxalary cell branches than it does carpogonium, which makes it a little more stable, and it is speculated that this was due to providing like a better protection around the reproductive carpogonial structures, which I found really cool. Now going back to the morphology between the gametophyte and the tetrasporophyte, it's been very difficult to try to define what the tetrasporophyte is. So the gametophyte looks exactly like the picture before. It's visible, it's branchy, it is uniaxial, it's beautiful, and it's gooey. It has this gooey consistency. However, when they tried to do a study in 1981, Bremen and Hopen decided to further deal into the reproductive cycle because they realized that at some point the gametophytes completely disappear. Where does the Acrosymphyton go? Well, they ended up discovering that there is a tetrasporophyte, and it's more of a crustose structure. So they decided to say, whoa, where did it go? And it turned out that the tetrasporophyte looks very identical to the Hymenoclonium, which is another crustose algae, which confused a lot of researchers. And so this really interesting study ended up discovering that and then bringing a lot more scholarly debate between other researchers as to is it its own genera or is it part of the Acrosymphyton, and it's still ongoing. Trust me, I tried to find more information. However, this study is actually really interesting. What they ended up discovering is that the gametophytes are very dependent on the temperature. If there was only 1 Celsius degrees of a difference, then the gametophyte wouldn't sexually mature. So they would find these gametophytes in, late spring when the waters are starting to warm up, and then they reach reproductive maturity around summer. And then they disappear. But they actually don't. What ends up happening is that their tetrasporophyte continue to mature within cold waters, such as during the winter and early spring. As the picture before, they do have the tetrahedral tetraspores, as shown in this electron microscope image. They are continuing to investigate more upon this heteromorphic alternation of generations, because all they've found so far is that the tetrasporophyte really does thrive in they tried placing it in deeper waters where there isn't enough light exposure, and then they also realized that, this is a perennial. It continues to thrive no matter what the conditions are. throughout the seasons, no matter the temperatures. And of course, it doesn't matter whether the day length is shorter or longer, will still continue to produce.